Classic dishes are classic for a reason. I think there's something really comforting about certain flavors that just take you back to wherever you like to go in your mind when things were really, really good. And for me, that's really what good food is all about. So today I'm going to show you one of my sort of new-ish recipes that takes me back to a place where times were really good, hanging out with my grandmother in the kitchen. All right, so we're going to start by doing a little bit of pork chops with some sage butter, and we're going to rock out this amazing Brussels sprout gratin. Let's get started, all right? First things first is I've got some Brussels sprouts that are already been washed. And what you want to do is you want to get in here and sort of slice down the Brussels sprouts. Doing this kind of chopping and cutting really takes me back to a time when I used to hang out with my grandmother. And it was just my cousin and I. We would sit there and we would just snap the ends of the green beans and put the part you could eat into the bag so it can be washed. And then the same thing with the collard greens. We take them and roll them up and pull off the leaf and throw away the stem. And to us, it was just a good time. I miss those times when life seemed to be a little bit easier, you know, a little bit simpler. Probably didn't know as much either. But bit by bit, I would see a piece here, a piece there, and eventually I must have did okay, because you're watching me show you how to make these Brussels sprouts, all right? So join me with grabbing your favorite memory as you chop up your Brussels sprouts and just have a good time and make even more memories, all right? So here's what we're gonna do. We got about a pound or so of these Brussels sprouts, right? So we're gonna toss these into a cream base. So these have already been washed. Why don't we work on that cream base? So in this bowl, I've got some heavy cream. So I'm gonna throw the heavy cream right in the bottom of this bowl. And then obviously we're gonna have to season this really well. So there's a little bit of salt. And then we've got some cracked black pepper going in there. Two more components that's gonna add a really great flavor base is gonna be a little bit of granulated garlic that's gonna go in here. And for that zippy flavor that you get only from onion powder, we'll add some of that and get that going. All right, look at that. Well, that's gonna be so good. So we're gonna have to make sure this is nice and thick on us. So I'm gonna take about a teaspoon of cornstarch and throw it in here. I'm gonna take some mascarpone cheese and I'm just gonna work the mascarpone cheese into the cream base. How bad could this be? Garlic, onion, cream, salt, pepper, mascarpone. Okay, really good. So the Parmesan is gonna go right in here, nice and nutty. All right, and then we're just gonna throw in the Brussels sprouts. I'm gonna throw those right in there. And let's mix this all together nicely. All right, so the gratin now will go right into a casserole dish like that. But I got one more thing to make it taste even better. I'm gonna do that by adding in some panko breadcrumbs. And on the stove, I've got a little bit of melted butter that I'm just gonna pour right into here. A new way to enjoy your Brussels sprouts. I'm telling you, comfort food classics right here. All right, my oven's at 350 degrees until everything's nice and golden brown. So I've got some pork chops that are boneless. You can use the ones with the bone in if you like. So I just want to do a little sprinkle of kosher salt on each one of these. And I'm also going to do a little sprinkle of cracked black pepper and a little bit of ground fennel seeds. It's going to go on each one like that. And then what we'll do is we'll take a little bit of oil and then you could use your fingers and rub it in real good. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Let's go ahead and add this right to the skillet. All right, so it's been about 45 minutes and my gratin is ready to come out of the oven. Look at that. Golden brown and bubbly. Right, meanwhile, I've got some fresh sage that I just want to chop up because we're going to get our sauce started for our pork chops. All right, sauce will be very simple. We'll take the pork chops that are cooking out. Look at that. Nice and golden brown. That looks good. What I want to do is I'm going to add some butter to this skillet, so we'll do that. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of wine, white wine. In go the sage. I'm going to do a little bit of black pepper in here. And let this just cook just for a few more moments. All right, and then we can nestle the pork chops right back into that sauce. And we can just pour some of the sauce right on top of the pork chops. One thing left to do, and that's to get in here and get a taste of these pork chops with this amazing sauce. I'm just gonna cut right through. Look at how tender and juicy. I wanna make sure I get all of that delicious sauce with the sage and the wine. Look at that. Comforting, warm, classic flavors that transport you right back to your childhood. Man, that is some good eating. And then look, here's this gratin with the Brussels sprouts and the Parmesan cheese. Let me see. If you do not think you like Brussels sprouts, you must try this recipe. Creamy, cheesy, crunchy, that little garlic in the background. You gotta give it a try. Recipes like this, you know what they're gonna be on my website. Come on, what is it? What is it? DariusCooks.tv. There's two things I wanna tell you, as I always do, y'all. Food is my life. Life, it is my food. Until next time, I gotta wish you happy cooking. From my little old heart to yours. Bye, y'all.